Alberta, you had a question.
Yes, I wanted to know how your children responded.
Bertha.
Oh, no, I wanted to know if he took some responsibility for what his kids going to school and thing, or did he let his wife do all of that?
Well, I wanted to have as much say as I had always had. I was not, obviously the situation would be that, why should my ex-wife listen to what I had to say about where they were going to live and so forth? So she would listen to me, and I would put my 2 cents worth in, and I would hope that she would do what I suggested, but she didn't always do it. And when it came time for her to take a job in another city, I was particularly distressed by that decision, and I didn't try to prevent it legally. I couldn't, but I certainly did try to talk her out of it, and I wasn't able to. So that period was the worst period of all, where, as Ross was saying earlier, about having to call your child. And I remember once I called my daughter, and she said, I said, "How are you?" And she said, "I'm better." And I said, "Better?" She said, "Yeah, I've been sick in bed since yesterday morning." I thought, oh, wow, it's terrible. I didn't know that. I wasn't there to comfort her. I wasn't there to, bring her something home from the store or make her feel better, and I didn't know she was sick, but now she's better. So I wasn't able to have as much influence on their lives and make those decisions as I had before, and that was the toughest thing, because I still felt responsible. I could still lie awake at night and think about, now, are they standing in the bathtub and running the hairdryer at the same time, or did I tell them enough about how not to one time my former wife said some kids have been coming home from school with them in the afternoon, and I found out that they've been taking aerosol cans and cigarette lighters, and they'd turn the aerosol can on and turn the cigarette lighter on. They'd make blowtorches. I was horrified.
Did you talk to was this your son?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you talk to him about that?
Oh, yeah, sure. Don't do that.
Yeah.
That's dangerous.
Yeah. Well, let's take a commercial break and come back and talk more.
It's always after the fact, though.
Oh, yeah,
Becca, you had a question or a comment.
Well, I just wanted to let you know that when I was growing up as a child, my father and mother were divorced, and he had his wife 6 days a week and us 1 day, and when he proceeded to involve her with our 1 day a week we got with our dad, we were really angry about this, and we did act up. And I mean, I'm sure she was a nice woman and everything, but we wanted our dads to ourselves on our day. Did you make an effort ever to...
It finally became clear to me that I couldn't put this unit together in the way I really wanted to, and I really did need to spend time with them alone, and not only with them as a unit, but with each one of those children alone. And that was another problem, was treating them as a unit instead of taking them out individually, and that did happen.
So that would be a good tip for a weekend father.
I think
if you have more than one child, to deal with them separately
and
on lots of
individually,
occasions.
and to sacrifice.
Sharon, you raised your hand.
Yes, my husband had so much bitterness after our divorce. I got custody of my daughter. She was 5 at the time. And he would say terrible things every weekend when he picked her up, until she'd come home in tears, and she started feeling bad feelings about me. And it got to the point that I felt like the best thing to do was to give him custody. He pushed me into that. I gave him custody, and that was 13 years ago, and I've never seen my daughter since. He disappeared with her.
And you have no idea where she is?
Well, I know where she is now. He passed away
I've heard
recently.
a lot about this, about parents talking against one another, and it's just the child never wins in this situation. You cannot defeat your former spouse by running him or her down. You can't win the child's affection that way. You just have to go for the long term. You have to try to be an example and go for the long term gain, and hope that sooner or later the kid will be able to dope out on his or her own what the truth of the situation was.
Yeah, Rosie, you ready to raise your hand there? Boy, you sure look like you were ready there just for a minute. Have you run into the parent who tries to buy the love? They come to visit for the weekends, and Dad buys them everything they want, and they go home, and there's Mom. I
did that. I was sort of an entertainment director. At first, I would pick them up on Friday afternoon, and I would say, how can I keep them exhausted, happy? Can we go? How many movies can we go to? Can we go to the
how many different
McDonald's
can you go to in one weekend?
I would.
Could you spot other single parents?
Oh yeah, you would go eat and go in a pizza place to eat pizza, and the kids take off for the video games, and you're sitting there by yourself, and you look across the room. There's there's this guy sitting by himself, and this guy sitting by himself, and this guy sitting by himself.
Father, I mean, you don't always go out to eat. You don't always get to go to the movies. You get to just spend time with them and enjoy them. But in that sense, I'm thinking that, well, your kids are gonna look forward to seeing you because it's something positive. It's not always positive growing up with your mom and dad.
It's a real good point. It's very important to normalize your relationship, I think, and that took me a while to do till I didn't feel, I felt so guilty that I had to keep them happy every moment so they wouldn't be angry with me. And it took me a long time to realize that I could say, we're going to mow the lawn this morning, you get the rake and you get the garbage bag, and we're going to go out there and do this, and shut up, and that's what's going to happen. Then we'll go do something else, but that's what's going to happen right now.
Yes.
What about now? How is your relationship? You said they're 17.
Yeah. Well, now it's very different because they have a driver's licenses and...
With your new wife and all four of you.
Do you have nice family dinners over pot roasts?
I can't seem to capture them, you know? They're off and gone and